4 phones plus 4 lines for $90. And we'll pay off your current contract when you switch. U.S. Cellular, built for
Welcome back to another edition of Wisconsin Weather Experts on this Thursday. Finally have sunshine here in the Milwaukee area and really much of the state. And we have a great forecast the next couple of days, aside from maybe a little hiccup Friday, Saturday morning.
A nice and also kind of necessary. I mean, we really needed to dry out because this is becoming very problematic. But we'll leave that for a bit and we'll just kind of get you caught up on everything that's going on. It has been going on recently, but I want to take you back in time to 2007 because this is the anniversary of Hurricane Dean making landfall in the Caribbean as a Category 5 hurricane. It was the 4th named storm of that hurricane season in 2007. It was also the strongest hurricane ever observed in the Atlantic Basin at that point. Dean reached Category 5 status, the highest on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale on the 20th, and then passed over deep, warm waters of the Caribbean, and then it came ashore again 2007 today on the 21st of August. It was the first storm to make landfall as a Category 5 hurricane in the Atlantic Basin since Hurricane Andrew before it in 1992, so a long stretch there.
And a huge, huge hurricane with, I can only imagine how strong some of the wind was combined with the rain. I mean, Category 5 is the biggest you get. So
massive, and went through, you know, the Yucatan and some of the smaller islands, the Caribbean, obviously doing some pretty extensive, making for a very difficult recovery for those areas and doing some extensive damage for sure. All right, now speaking of damage, we've got FEMA in town today. So nearly 2 weeks now after the massive storm, FEMA is here in southeastern Wisconsin. It's a much needed step that could lead to federal money being granted to help those with disaster relief.
Yeah, our Jason Calvi is out there right now with FEMA as they are surveying. He's doing a ride along. So later on our FOX 6 News channel, there will be plenty more. But of course, they will look at flood damage. They are looking at flood damage. They'll check local estimates and see if it reaches the level for a major disaster. Now, this needs to happen first before the governor can request the president to declare a disaster. And with that declaration, federal money could then help you. So national nonprofits like Samaritan's Purse are already on the ground helping many people.
We want to be realistic in knowing that this is not going to make us whole. It is for us to get back into our functions prior to this event.
We pretty much lost everything, so I'm hoping we can find a contractor and start the process of trying to get a bed and a shower, get things back, you know, get back on our feet.
Got to feel for them. Nonprofit Samaritan's Purse is looking for more volunteers. They have finished 20 projects so far and plan to stay until they finish all the requests, which is about 200. Wow. Milwaukee County says local teams visited more than 3,400 and 53% were destroyed or had major damage. Now, from that, we talked about water in a different sense. Caught on camera, we have members of the U.S. Coast Guard saving 4 young girls stranded on an island in Lake Superior. Check this video out. You can see the 4 girls huddled together to survive the cold. They got stuck while paddle boarding, and the lake conditions kept them from safely returning to shore. Crews say the weather and the dark, of course, made this a very challenging rescue. Also, these girls are just 14, 13, 10, and 8 years old.
Oh, my.
The youngest looked up a little bit scared, and I could tell. I mean, we have a rotor wash of close to hurricane knot winds. And so you could tell that she was a little bit shaken up. They all were. They were probably there for a few hours.
I bet they'll be shaken up for quite some time. Crews did use a helicopter to lift the girls to safety, and I'm happy to report they are now home safe in Minnesota.
Oh, that is terrifying.
I can't
as
even
parents,
imagine.
especially, you know, just oof.
Yeah, and
a worst nightmare.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't even dream of that horrible situation. You go out for a nice paddle board, you think it's a nice day on the lake, and then it turns into that, which is why we constantly stressed, being very aware of weather conditions and making sure you don't go into places you shouldn't be in. We don't know what the conditions were leading up to them going out on the water, so no judgment being laid there, but just shows how quickly things can change.
Yes, and thankful for a happy outcome.
Yes, indeed.
All right, well, we are not alone in flooding, unfortunately. We're going to take you to Georgia now, one of the spots that also dealt with a lot of rain, and especially last night, specifically the Fulton County Jail. Literally flooding, as you can see from that video. This is some of the damage caused by last night's storms.
How deep is this water?
Water spews inside Fulton County's Rice Street Jail. Heavy rain and faulty plumbing caused flooding Wednesday night in the jail's One North sector, which houses 197 inmates. Deputies had to use blankets and sandbags to hold back the water that was coming through the ceiling and drain pipes.
Unfortunately, it's not uncommon for this to happen every time it rains.
Sheriff Pat Labatt says the jail has had flooding issues for 10 years now. He used it to bash county commissioners who earlier in the day voted to renovate the jail rather than build a new one.
Today's vote was, at best, penny wise and a pound foolish and flawed in its thinking.
The commission approved a $1.2 billion 9-year plan to build a new facility for special needs inmates and then renovate the current jail. Commission Chair Rob Pitt says the plan is cheaper than building a new jail.
There is no need for a new jail. We've gone over that for the last year or so.
But Sheriff Labatt says the commission's decision means the current jail and all of its problems will remain in operation for at least 5 years.
Had they listened, we wouldn't be here today.
Just shows the power of floodwater again. We just keep coming back to that. I think we underestimate it far too often. Maybe this is a lesson to be learned for sure. All right, we're going to pivot and talk heat now, because the heat is causing a real problem down in Arizona. There's a new tourism analysis that found the city of Scottsdale has recorded 11 million visitors last year. A lot of them coming there for bachelorette parties, apparently. Seek at the bar scene, the activities, the resort and the pool parties. But is the heat keeping them away? It's 110 degrees.
Scottsdale has had more bachelorette parties than Nashville the last couple of years.
And what's even crazier is they're still wanting to do those activities that are outdoors. So the party bike, the party boat, the hiking, the ATV.
I guess the answer is no. You can't stop a good bachelorette party, even with triple-digit heat like they have again today. The report says part of the reason they're seeing so many events during the summer is affordability. Golf courses, Airbnbs, and hotels typically have lower rates in that part of the country during the summer months because of the oppressive heat. But it's actually attracting tourists because, of course, like me, trying to save a buck.
Right. Well, and it's a gorgeous area, especially when you think of Scottsdale. My sister is down there.
Oh, okay. I've
So,
never been.
she raves. She loves it. Phoenix, technically, but goes to Scottsdale quite often. So I understand. But I was just looking at stats recently for Phoenix specifically. Last year, they set a record for 113 days of 100-plus heat. That's the most they've ever had.
Being from Wisconsin, that feels like an inferno.
Yes.
It's hot even there. I know they say it's dry heat, but it's hot even for residents there. But for us to go down there for any kind of party and be in 113-degree heat like they forecast for today is a challenge. But obviously, it's not slowing down the tourism in that part of the world, so I suppose a positive there. All right, we have a lot of things to cover, so let's dive into our regional overview.
Yeah, I figured we'd just start with the heat, just
Good
to
idea.
once again show you that, hey, look at Phoenix, 111, the forecast high for today.
That's down one from this morning. Is that a good thing?
I don't know, that's questionable. But
might need a light sweater.
You can see that a lot of spots are still looking at heat out west. This has been the trend as of late, with all of the 90s, the triple digits staying out west, and us here locally more so looking at 70s and 80s. And as we know, we have even cooler air ahead as we look to Sunday and early next week, really much of next week. Now for today, most spots across Wisconsin will see highs in the 70s. Milwaukee and lakeshore communities will likely end up being a little cooler because of the lake breeze, but inland areas within southeast Wisconsin, so closer to home, will still be in those middle and upper 70s. Now right now, you can already see how hot it is out west, but look at some of this cooler air. So we have a cold front right now that's draped across parts of North Dakota into parts of Montana, and behind it, you can see Canada to the Pacific Northwest already feeling some of that cooler air. And that's what we are looking ahead to see here locally by the second half of the weekend on into much of next week. The trends are still looking below average all the way into Labor Day weekend. We still have a couple of warmer days though tomorrow. In fact, we'll likely see some low 80s, around 80 then on Saturday. Then we'll really start to drop with just very comfortable air. I know it's cooler than where we should be, but our summer has been very hot and very humid, which I enjoy, but to have a little break from that, no complaints. Again, the temperature trend from the Climate Prediction Center, it still keeps much of Wisconsin and really much of the central and eastern U.S. below average for the remainder of August and then on into Labor Day and into early September, which is great news with kiddos going back to school too. You'd rather it be comfortable than hot and humid like we've had much of the last couple of months. We are rain-free today across the state, just a few clouds with us at the moment. The cold front, though, is still generating a few showers and thunderstorms across far northern Minnesota on into parts of North Dakota and western South Dakota. That's going to hold off rain, that is, in our area, at least down in southern Wisconsin until later Friday night or early Saturday morning. But throughout tomorrow, there could still be a few showers and storms across northern and western parts of the state. It's just going to take its time getting to those of us down south. We actually have a high pressure system with us now, so that's what's going to keep us dry most of today and tomorrow. Out towards the west is where you see that storm system that we will then see during our pre-dawn hours heading into Saturday. Another unsettled pattern out towards the east and down towards the south, stationary boundary, keeping another day of showers and thunderstorms likely in some areas along the east and the Gulf Coast. And then, of course, let's check in with that hurricane. We're going to talk a lot more about Hurricane Erin a little bit later on, but you can tell it is still churning there in the Atlantic. It's actually still a Category 2 storm and still bringing some of the outer bands to the east coast, as well as some of those treacherous conditions on the water between the storm surge, the high waves, and just the wind in general. Now back closer to home, it's just sunshine, quiet weather for now. Notice as we get into your Friday, clouds will gradually increase up towards the north and out towards the west. We'll really watch that area of rain pushing into northern Wisconsin later Friday, we'll say midday into the afternoon. Those of us down south, though, we're only looking at a really scattered chance for some showers and storms early Saturday morning. It'll likely be a broken line along the cold front itself. So it's not even that great of a chance for rain here in southern Wisconsin, which we will take because we still need to dry things out. And past that minor chance for showers and storms, we have a dry forecast all the way through the second half of the weekend and even into early next week as well. So we are looking very, very quiet aside from just a few of those warmer days, Friday, Saturday, and that slight chance for some rain showers on into Saturday morning. So not too bad of a forecast, Rob.
And even those rain showers look really light.
They do, really minimal chances here.
We're good to go for that. Brand new video in today, the moment that a meteorite lit up the sky. Check this out.
Wow.
Wow, this is over western Japan. Residents reported seeing the fireball through the overnight, saying it was bright as the moon at one point. Phenomenon happens, of course, when meteorites enter the Earth's atmosphere at a high speed and they burn up, resulting in flashes and colors of light. Of course, most space debris breaks down into small pieces before hitting the ground.
Incredible visual there.
Yeah. And now we go over to Hawaii and talk volcanoes. Scientists predict that the Hawaiian Kilauea volcano will soon erupt, releasing lava it's known to be one of the world's most active volcanoes. Kilauea has erupted 30 times since December. Unlike explosive mainland volcanoes, Kilauea's lava is hotter and more fluid, coming directly from the Earth's interior. Of course, that whole island chain was formed by volcanic activity. The U.S. Geological Survey will live stream the eruption with 3 camera angles for those interested in watching. And of course, we'll be all over that and bring you some of that video in the days ahead. However, it's love that was erupting for one couple.
Goodness.
They were visiting Hawaii. Look, that's a great picture.
This is a great picture.
I'm not sure I'd be feeling safe to take it, but all right. A man did propose to his girlfriend, now fiance, of 6 years in front of Kilauea. Lava shot out from more than 1,000 feet just as he popped the question. Perfect timing. The couple, who are from Seattle, kept things safe. It may look like they're really close there, but they're actually about a mile away from the volcano. Shows the power of photography, right? Wow. They plan to get married within the next 2 years. Oh, they're stretching this out. Okay, good. They're taking their time.
I literally thought they were getting hit by some of that.
It looked like it, but obviously it must just be, camera angles, right?
Amazing.
Use the proper lens, and it looks like it's it looks like 10 feet away.
I know. Oh, well, congratulations to them.
Yes.
Frame those pictures.
Hopefully it will be
in front of the house.
a less explosive marriage.
Yeah, let's hope.
Keep the fireworks early and then settle down.
Fireworks for life. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, we've got plenty more Wisconsin weather experts coming up. Let's take a live look outside right now in Milwaukee where the sun is shining. We will be right back.
Wisconsin weather experts back here on Fox Local. Busy weather globally, of course, and obviously watching with the hurricane.
Yeah, the East Coast, just between the waves and the heavy rain and the storm surge. Take a look at this video that was sent in by Mark Suduth in Rodanthe this morning. This is of waves. Clearly, you can see how high they were. I mean,
and the sound of the wind.
The East Coast has just been, even though this isn't making landfall, they are still dealing with some pretty big impacts as this stays just off the coast. This is a massive storm.
Yeah, it's a huge storm, and obviously still impacting the lakeshore. Well, we say that so often here. I said lakeshore, but the ocean coast, because you can see the huge waves there, and this Hurricane Erin has been creating dangerous conditions all along the coastal areas and the Atlantic Ocean, of course, churning up the waters. Rough surf to many of the shores. High surf advisories were in effect for Florida's East Coast. National Weather Service warning of high risk of rip currents. Daytona Beach officials also warned of dangerous beach conditions due to Hurricane Erin, and the storm is not expected, as we said, to make landfall, but is going to continue to create dangerous conditions all up and down the East Coast.
Right, so now it's pulling away, or will be pulling away from North Carolina later today, which is some good news. You can still see it going strong out over the Atlantic. It's still a Category 2 storm, and as far as the storm surge forecast goes, notice how it goes now past New Jersey. So it's continuing, and we're talking storm surge of maybe 1 to 3 feet in that blue area, but it's creeping its way northward as that storm continues to move north. So still not expecting direct landfall, but it's going to be close enough to really impact those waves and the wind. So beaches up and down the coast expected to stay under a lot of these warnings and these headlines here through the weekend until this is completely out of the area.
Because even a 1 to 3 foot storm surge plus the wind is problematic. And it's problematic for these little guys. Hurricane Erin impacting the Florida sea turtle nests. The Sea Turtle Conservancy says adult turtles can endure the rough surf just fine by diving into deeper, calmer waters. But for the nests, kind of a different story. Experts say storms can indeed flood the nests, washing them away. If you are down in that area and you spot a stranded turtle, turtle or a disturbed nest, you should contact the Sea Turtle Conservancy to make sure somebody takes care of that. It's got a
so
sad
beautiful
story.
too.
This is a beautiful story, though. We are going to talk about a singing farmer and how that whole agricultural world is so very connected to weather and Mother Nature. Take a look.
I like the people. I like the freedom. I get a good breath of air all the time.
On a family farm near Fergus Falls, about 3 hours north of the Twin Cities, the sounds of both man and nature fill the air. But in the middle of all the insects and farm implements...
This is a Minneapolis Moline M670. It was probably built in '67.
...is a man in harmony with more than just Mother Nature.
I really enjoy music. It just does a lot for me. Gives me a positive feeling.
Five days a week, Boyd Huslid tends to 88 acres of corn and soybeans. But in the process, he also plants the seeds for a harvest of song.
God bless America, land that I love.
The 84-year-old retired high school physics teacher has been cultivating his voice since he was a little boy.
To the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam.
And it's not unusual to find him giving his instrument a workout while working the land.
I don't know, there's just melodies go through my head, you know, and so I'm not very good about the words. I suppose every day, not continuously, but quite often.
Because you came to me and I did one.
Normally, Huslid's audience is limited to his family members on the farm.
Do you sing to the soybeans, or do you?
Well, I don't know. I'm probably, maybe I'm a little loud for them. They're kind of quiet.
But recently, he took his talents to a different type of field.
I find sports exciting, and I think music's exciting too. And so it's just like to be part of it.
Up the middle, Bobby Witt on the short hop.
Huslid and his wife Kathy are big Twins fans, and singing before one of their games was on his bucket list. After all, he sung the national anthem at his granddaughter's hockey game at St. Olaf College.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
And regularly performs in musicals and at his church. So his daughter recorded him singing and sent it to the Twins, and the team said yes.
God bless America.
Before the Twins took on the Kansas City Royals at Target Field back in May, Huslid took the mic for a rendition of God Bless America.
God bless America.
And in front of a crowd of more than 32,000 fans, he knocked it out of the park.
Oh, it was great. You know, the people, when we went back to sit down, the people behind us stood up, and my family was all there, my brothers and all of his grandchildren, and it was a special day. One lady even came up and gave me a kiss on the cheek, and oh my goodness. That was a reaction I certainly wasn't expecting. And people just shook my hand, and it was just fun. They were all nice.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
For Huslid, the opportunity to perform on such a large stage was the answer to his prayers. But he has no plans to put his passion out to pasture just yet.
Even though I'm no longer able to play football or that kind of thing, I can still sing. As long as somebody doesn't think I shouldn't sing anymore, you know, I'm going to keep doing it.
For more stories, Maury Glover, Fox 9.
What a great story. You just keep singing. What power in those lungs. We'll be back with more Wisconsin weather experts right after this.
Welcome back, everyone, to Wisconsin Weather Experts. Rob, you've got another Isobar tease for us.
Right, brand new episode has dropped of the Isobar, the highs and lows of meteorology, our regional video podcast with ourselves, the fine folks down in Chicago and over in Detroit. We had a great chat about a microburst. Check it out. Pivot to talk about the wind, because while it was pouring rain, we also had some dramatic wind events. You had a microburst down in Chicago.
That's right. So in one of our suburbs called Mount Prospect, there was a 100-unit apartment building that was holding roughly 200 residents are now without a home because we had a microburst take place over the weekend on Saturday the 16th, and there were 70-mile-per-hour winds, but it actually ripped off the roof of this 4-story apartment building, just completely exposing that whole top floor. So unfortunately, there's a long road ahead for those folks as well, because the entire building needs to be, checked out and then redone. There needs to be a new roof that's entirely built.
There you go. You can check that out on demand on Fox Local, on the Fox 6 YouTube channel, and it does air live today at 2:30 and again on Saturday at 2.
Great. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.